よう、俺がトールだ。どんな任務もパパッと片付けてやっから邪魔だけはしてくれんなよ。
Thor is a threat to the member of Aether when she's on the other side. Don't get me wrong, she's a good person, she's on the good side. But hey, I won't spoil anything here except that her weapon is called Mjolnir, and it can also be called upon by Odin as well. They kind of stick with the Norse mythology, which I think is kind of interesting. Currently ranking T2 in CM, but when she first came out, she's a T1. I mean, this is how this kind of game works. Every DPS will eventually drop, and support will always be a must-have. Thor is definitely stronger than Shinri's Tsukuyomi, but both has its benefit depending on which gen zone you want to utilize. Also, the fact that Shinri is a mess if you just miss her skill tree. It's a hit or miss, and if you miss, you're gonna go through the skill cooldown. But as for Thor, she's actually a fast-paced character and very easy to utilize. There's no error if you make mistake with her, but as a standalone unit, she is definitely weaker than Hades, but when paired alongside Aether as a team, they both actually surpasses her. She does change her hair during some certain skill due to lore according to my friend Kuso. She is definitely a must pair with Aether as both pull in enemies and deal great amount of AoE damage. Considering that Aether also needs to enter her underworld mode, and you're kind of having 2 DPS and then 2 modifiers charging each other. Thor belongs to the Yggdrasil faction. She is a melee character, lightning attribute and traces mechanic. Her kits are very simple and straightforward. In fact, she's very easy to get used to it. Thor design is actually pretty cool and pretty unique. Kept simple, but I really love that little, torn up cape right there. Done very right. I don't think it's a cape or scarf. But regardless, she is a very beautiful character. Now, of course, I explain again, Thor is a trace mechanic, and her basic attack has a 5-hit combo. Bum, bum, bum. It's very long, but performing this allows you to gain 1 traces. But there's multiple ways to gain traces. I'm gonna not do that. So every time you dodge, after dodging, your basic attack will start with the 4th hit and then end with the... Sorry, my bad. I missed that. Your basic attack will start with the 4th hit and then with the 5th hit. But there is a window there, so you gotta make sure that you gotta utilize your opponent's attacking to bring this to the full potential. Gaining trace is highly important using Thor. Now, Thor has 3 skills, and each of his skills has its normal skill, and after tapping the normal skill, you'll realize that it's gonna light up. You'll see that you'll light up, and it's gonna be the same for skill 2 as well as skill 3, and every time you finish either one of the skill, your basic attack will start with skill 4 and skill 5. You always have to perform this because you want to be gaining traces all the time with Thor. Skill 1, the lighted version of skill 1 or the enhanced basic attack, and then you'll notice that I did the 4th combo and the 5th combo. It's going to be the same. Now we're showcasing skill 2. Now skill 2 is more to luring enemies closer as displayed on the screen right here. Let me get back to skill 1. If you are having distance with enemy, then skill 1 is the best to get close to the enemy, right? No skills are better than skill 1. Maybe skill 2, but the distance wise, skill 1 is better. Skill 2 is gonna be very bad, see? So we're gonna perform skill 2 and the enhanced version of it. And every time you use the enhanced version, regardless of skill 1, skill 2 or skill 3, it will consume all 3 traces. Pay attention, right? Normal skill 2, and then it consume, and then basic attack, and then basic attack number 5. And then we give 1 traces again. What skill 3 for is definitely DPS. You always want to prioritize skill 3. So again, skill 1 for closing in with enemies, skill 2 for pulling enemy in, and then skill 3 for dealing massive damage. So the normal version of skill 3, the enhanced version, and then basic attack. Alright, there we go. Now I want to talk about rotation and, for example, right? Let me clear the traces first. I also forgot to mention that regardless of any of the skill 1, skill 2, skill 3, if you use them, you will gain traces, right? So here's what I would do. Like I would do some basic attack or maybe some dodge attack and finish it with a 5-hit combo, and then gather it and then use that to kind of gain more traces. And if you don't like to use the one gather, there's not a lot of mobs around. Maybe you can utilize skill 2 to gain 1 traces and follow up by skill 3. But the problem with Thor is the insane cooldown. Aside from that, I don't think she has any other problem. Thor has a bar coming along with her kit called the Thunder Potential. every basic attack or skill will increase it, but you're actually losing it at a very fast pace. I'll spare you the details because there's no point in remembering the numbers. The more damage you do with either basic attack or skill, you're gonna build up the thunder potential, and the more you have it, the more damage Thor will deal, but you're actually losing it at a very fast pace. I would not recommend prioritizing this. There's gonna be like mobs attacking you, you want to dodge it. Instead of keeping the meter up, you're taking damage. Totally not worth it. Thor's ultimate is that she summons her metal gauntlet known as Jar Program Per. I don't know what it is, but it's an iron gauntlet. So what her ultimate does is that she buffs herself and any other ally that uses trace mechanic as well, for example Aether and Osiris, by 30%. And this is the more reason you want to pair her with Aether, as she is also Trace's mechanism. This mode is called the Raging Thunder mode, and it lasts for about 12 seconds or when the thunder potential reaches maximum. While in this mode, Thor does not receive any damage. She's basically invincibility. So you can either use this for 12 seconds, just defending to avoid damage, or you just want to punch and deal a lot of damage. Each punch deals a total of 758% damage per punch. When the thunder potential is max, Thor will release her final punch, dealing a total of 1871%. There are other details about the ultimate, but most of them are positive, so you don't need to worry about the details. The important thing is that you understand that Thor's ultimate also buff other traces modifier, and it has invincibility for 12 seconds and deal a very big amount of damage out of all of her kit. Alright, let's talk about Thor's build. Now basically her Thor allows her ultimate punches to deal additional of 500% damage, but I don't think I want to go through the details with you, but most of them are mostly positive. And I want to correct my mistake that it doesn't help you gain traces. So this is more of a more DPS, and considering that her most damage are dealt in her ultimate form, this is definitely a must-have to have. But if you don't have it, Thor is really not that strong. As for Thor's Sigil, now the Iron Chariot, I don't know what this is called, the goat. The goat is definitely a must-have, and then this one is also a must-have because she is highly dependable on traces, like I said. And even if you have traces, she still deals one problem. She has an insane cooldown, okay? So that is another problem where we can actually solve it with the warp system. This is the recommended warp system I recommend. But as for skill 3, I only want to explain skill 3 because, again, like I said, skill 3 is the one that does most damage. You might have to go with my build if you want. That actually reduces her cooldown. As for Aether codes, now I will give you the short answer again. If you want to let AI play, then definitely you want to use Red Aether codes. But if you want to do more damage, I recommend yellow code, blue code. I think it's blue, yellow code. Yeah, yellow code. Now in the CM, we actually has this new system that tell us what are the communities built, right? Okay, it's lagging. Okay, what are the communities built? Now majority of them prefer the yellow codes, like I said. And then most of them do recommend getting, of course, they recommend getting the Thor. I mean, without most modifier without the Thor is just useless. But Thor, I would say she needed 8 out of 10. And as for Omega build, this would be the Omega build. So my life is made easier. I don't have to do all those cutting things, right? Now, when it comes to best team build, Aether is definitely a must-have in the team. Number 1, because remember, Thor's ultimate actually buff Tracer's modifier. And the third one I would recommend would be also S-Rank Shu if you have her, because she's also Traces, and you have the Nile Gen Zone, which actually buff critical. You can also set in Flame Thor if you want, mainly because the Yggdrasil Gen Zone is gonna help Thor with his Rage Bar, not really gonna benefit Thor. Thor is not gonna have a cooldown or a trace problem. She's generating them actually quite well. Again, the best team will always be this girl over here, but there's no Gen Zone buff, and you just want to slap Hera somewhere else that's gonna help, with the Gen Zone even more powerful. This is just my opinion. So my name is Zackie here, and I honestly think that Thor is better for people who already have Aether and pulling for Aether. Also does have like her synchro buff. If you don't have Aether, you don't plan to pull for Thor's Thor, you're not gonna utilize this team by a lot. But if you're new, hey, I think she is recommended. But if you're new, you might as well get Flame Thor. He's way better compared to Thor, because Thor needs Thor needs Aether. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Do leave a like if you find this video helpful. And hey, it's just a gaming channel.